What's up, y'all? Today we're going to be dealing with Zechariah chapter 9 and individuals saying that Jesus is a failed Messiah because this passage pictures an individual, a king, and they say not necessarily the Christ, but it's a reference to the Christ because it's quoted about Jesus in the New Testament. But it says this: "Rejoice greatly, daughter of Zion, shout in triumph, daughter of Jerusalem." That's because Jerusalem and Zion are often interchangeable terms. Zion here is a reference to Jerusalem. "Behold, your king is coming to you. He is righteous and endowed with salvation, humble and mounted on a donkey, even on a colt, the foal of a donkey." And that was fulfilled by Jesus. And the individual will say, well, Jesus just sat on a donkey, but what about the rest of it, right? Anyone can sit on a donkey riding into Jerusalem. But you know what else? Is that this had to be fulfilled within Rome's first 11 emperors, according to Daniel chapter 7. So that was the time frame of the Messiah. The Messiah in Daniel chapter 7 is pictured as receiving all authority which Rome possessed by the time that they came across their 11th emperor. So individuals say Jesus is a failed Messiah for this reason, and we're going to talk about it. It says this: "I will eliminate the chariot from Ephraim and the horse from Jerusalem." This is the idea that the Gentiles would no longer make war with the people of God. And it says, "And the bow of war will be eliminated, and he will speak peace to the nations, and his dominion will be from sea to sea, and from the Euphrates River to the ends of the earth." Now, this is the thing. Individuals say Jesus is a failed Messiah because Jesus didn't eliminate the horse from Jerusalem. Jesus is pictured as being in charge of orchestrating horses coming to Jerusalem in the New Testament, because that's what happened. Jerusalem was destroyed by the Roman armies. So this is the thing. This is where good Bible study comes in the sense of recognizing biblical principles. Then we're going to come back to this. But in Jeremiah chapter 18, look what it says concerning the promises that God makes. In Jeremiah chapter 18, we'll start in verse 10. It says this. Verse 7. "At one moment I might speak concerning a nation or concerning a kingdom, to uproot it, to tear it down, or to destroy it. If that nation against which I have spoken turns from its evil, I will relent of the disaster that I planned to bring on it." Now this is where verse 9 and 10 come in handy in helping us see the fulfillment of Zechariah chapter 9. "Or at another moment I might speak concerning a nation or concerning a kingdom, to build up or to plan it. If it does evil in my sight by not obeying my voice, then I will relent of the good with which I said that I would bless it." Isn't that what you read about in Zechariah chapter 9? You read about the blessing, the building, the planting of Jerusalem and Ephraim. But what was it conditional upon? Well, the obedience to Jesus' teachings. That's what Peter even said in Acts chapter 3, where he said that it's written, whoever does not hear this prophet who was raised up like Moses from among the brethren will be cut off among the people. So you have Zechariah chapter 9. And in Zechariah chapter 9, it says, "I will eliminate the chariot from Ephraim and the horse from Jerusalem, and the bow of war will be eliminated." Well, is that not the concept presented in Jeremiah chapter 18 concerning good spoken to a nation? Because you look at the New Testament and it's called the nation, right? The Jews referenced themselves and said they were worried that Rome might take away their nation. And so you have here this principle being taught of good, right? "I have set you prisoners free from the waterless pit. Return to the stronghold, you prisoners who have the hope. This very day I am declaring that I will restore double to you." That's the idea of blessings. Now here's the picture presented, because right now who's ruling? Media and Persia. But who would come after Media and Persia? Because this is the time of the Jews being released from Babylonian captivity. Who would come after Media and Persia? Greece. But it says this: "I will bend Judah as my bow. I will fill the bow with Ephraim, and I will stir up your sons, Zion, meaning your children, Jerusalem, against your sons, Greece. So this is the idea that this promise of the king coming to Jerusalem is going to be fulfilled. And once Greece became a kingdom and conquered Media Persia, Greece would not be able to stop the Messiah from coming to the Israelite nation. So did Jesus fail to fulfill this? I mean, he didn't fulfill this, right? But we learn from Jeremiah chapter 18 that if a person didn't obey God, a nation or a people, that he would, it says, relent himself of the good which he had spoken concerning that people or nation because they disobeyed his voice. So is Jesus a failed Messiah because he didn't fulfill this promise? No. It shows that the people failed to hearken to Jesus's voice. And it's not even like it's something super impossible, right? You see, there were individuals in the first century and they were trying to follow Jesus. And in the assemblies, there were many problems. But the problem with those who were destroyed was they weren't even trying to obey Jesus. They rejected Jesus as the Messiah. So they weren't hearkening to the commandments of God. And even Jesus revealed in Matthew chapter 23 concerning the law of Moses, they were telling other people to do stuff, but they themselves weren't doing what they were telling others to do. They're condemning Jesus and his disciples, individuals who didn't commit iniquity that was worthy of being put to death for, and yet they put Jesus to death anyway. So did Jesus fail to fulfill this? Well, if they would have obeyed him, we wouldn't say he failed to fulfill it, because according to this, if he's faithful to his word, he would have fulfilled this, but we see the majority being disobedient, so he didn't fulfill this. It's not that he failed to, it's that he didn't, right? Because failing implies the idea that you try but fall short. So was Jesus trying to eliminate war from Jerusalem? He was through his teachings, but was he trying to keep the Romans from destroying the city? He allowed it to happen. He said it would take place. So is Jesus a failed Messiah? No. He's just faithful to his word and his promises. So hopefully that has helped answer that from Zechariah chapter 9. If anyone's wondering about verse 10, concerning any skeptical comments about what about this, what about that, is the fact you have here Zechariah chapter 9 mentioning a promise of good, and because these individuals disobeyed God, he wouldn't fulfill that promise of good things for them. So thank you for your time, and stay tuned for the next video.